Yesterday, me and the Information Man Show channel did a podcast called She Don't Want to Date Me Because I Have a Kid. And this whole idea revolves around the fact that the Information Man Show has his daughter part-time. He has been married for 15 years but now divorced. And because he is a single father who was very active in the child's life, college graduate and doing well for himself, most women that he comes across that are his age would have the audacity to look at that as a negative and will say that they can't have a serious relationship with him. But Information Man Show brings out another point that I have never seen brought up on YouTube, but we all know that it's true. In first encounters with a woman on social media or in person, women may ask many questions. Where do you work? Where do you live? What kind of car do you drive? How old are you? But one question they're always going to ask you, if you are a brother that has a college degree, if you are a brother who has some money, if you are a brother who's doing a little bit better in your life, how many kids do you have? How many kids do you have? Isn't that a very interesting question, my brothers? And that is a question of complete disrespect. Because if you were to ask any woman that, hey baby, where do you work? Where do you go to school? How old are you? You 32. How many kids do you have? That would insinuate that she is irresponsible. She don't know what she's doing. But see, this is what a lot of women in America, especially black women in America, this is what they always want to know about you. And you know, this concept is not just in America. You brothers from Africa know that it happens all the time in Africa. Let you be a man that's 35 years old, 40 years old, and you meet a woman. She gonna not only ask you how many kids you have, she gonna assume you have kids. Where are your kids and your other wife? And you tell them that you don't have any kids, you don't have a wife, they're gonna say that you're lying. And see, I want to deal with this because in the West, in America to be exact, the black man is not the stereotypical Negro that everybody thinks that he is. And brothers who are coming out of poverty into the first generational middle class understand that having babies out of wedlock by somebody that, you know, they probably not going to be with, that's the number one road to poverty. And these brothers are not having children as much as black women are having. And the stats prove this out. But yet and still, the women will still ask you in America, in Africa, wherever black men are, they're going to ask you, how many kids you got? And if you somebody like myself who was 37 and you tell them, no, I don't have any kids, they're going to assume that you lying. So they're going to ask you again, how many kids you got, nigga? I don't have any kids. Then they're going to ask you, well, why not? Why don't you have a family? I mean, here comes the interrogation on your ass. And you tell them, well, I was focused on my career. I was focused on working. I was focused on doing certain things to build myself up as a brother before I started to have kids and fuck up other kids' lives like somebody fucked up mine. Shout out to my parents. I'm just joking. No, I'm serious. But, you know, I want to be able to provide for my children and give them the best opportunity at life. Once you say that, they are going to be stuck. And then they won't say anything. And then the next thing that they're going to insinuate is that you're gay. Well, you sure that you like women? I mean, what's wrong with you? It got to be something that you ain't telling me. I mean, do you have, did she have any abortions? Ask you all these questions. But really, what it is that you don't have permission to be responsible. That's what it is. They're letting you know when they ask you how many kids that you have, nigga, I expect you to be a bum. I expect you to be a loser. You are not supposed to be doing anything that is successful. How dare you be responsible? How dare you, not mess your life up? How dare you look after you? And, it brings out a good point, because I guess when any woman who would ask a brother that don't believe that you have children, as if you're lying or you may be gay or all these other things, it just goes to show that a lot of women out there are not ready to be in meaningful relationships with productive and constructive and brothers who are doing well and black men of this ilk. They are not mentally ready for it. Even when they come across it, you want to put a brother in a lesser position, because you cannot fathom the idea that a black man is 37, 32, 31 years old, 35 years old, with a master's degree, with 20 different suits, with $150,000 a year, with his car paid off, that don't need you to live with him, can take trips wherever he wants to be. He's been to Paris, he's been to Rome, he's been to Nigeria, he's been to Brazil without somebody like you, and he don't have no children. That's not reserved for heterosexual men. That's only reserved for, men who've been married or men who are homosexual. And I want to know, has this happened to you, brothers? Has it happened to you? How do you feel about it? Because it is very important. Because the new black male of today understands that child support is a motherfucker. Yeah, 17% of my money going away to some child that I might not be with is a motherfucker. So I'm not going to be out here being reckless with my sperm and having kids I can afford. And a lot of women, I believe, are really hoping that black men make bad decisions for some reason. Like, I mean, let me put it this way. A lot of times black women ask us, what kind of women are you coming across? I'm going to do a video on that, right? When we talk about we coming across certain kind of bad women and things like that, that's what they'll say real quick. What kind of women are you dealing with? You're dealing with women that are losers. How can you deal with women like that? That's not like you're dealing with women that are, you should deal with women that are doing better. They tell us that all the time, because you're just dealing with the wrong women. And so what I want to talk about to you women out there who always ask black men how many kids you got, what kind of men are you dealing with? Because, see, we have numbers to prove that, like, most black men have no children at all. I think like 45% of black men that have never been married and have no children or something like that. That's a good portion. So that means like out of every 10 black men that you see in America, almost 5 of them never have had children. So where are you getting these black men from? Like where? Where are you meeting these black men at? Because a lot of black men don't have kids, ain't trying to have no kids, don't want to have no kids, and would only have kids in the confines of marriage if they could find somebody they feel that is marriageable quality. But again, black men don't have the right or the privilege to be able to not have kids and fuck their lives up and other people's lives up because they're just supposed to be out there doing stupid shit. And this is why I really don't care. When people ask me that and they don't believe it, it's not my job, especially in Africa. Any woman you meet is going to assume that you have 30,000 kids, especially if you're a successful guy. Oh, no, listen, I have no children. Oh, no, you got kids somewhere. Listen, if you tell me that again, I'm going to call the police on your ass, and I'm going to bribe them to arrest you. So I'm just letting you know, brothers, listen, keep doing what you're doing. Okay? Because just like they don't like you, you don't like somebody asking you that. They don't like it. When you ask them how many kids you got, the problem is when you ask them that, they do be having hella kids. That's why they don't like you asking that shit. They'll ask you all day, and then when you ask them how many kids you got, they gonna pause. 4, but how many different baby daddies? I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, because you got 4 kids, about 4 different Negroes. That's why you don't want to talk about it. But you stay all in my business. You better worry about your goddamn self and your 4 kids. But anyways, listen, brothers, I got to get up out of here. Shout out to everybody support me on the Patreon. What do you think about this, man? Has this ever happened to you? Peace out. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.